You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. What up, man? This is your boy, Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders Podcast. And today, we have a wonderful guest, as you see below. He is an independent comic book creator, publisher, writer, letterer. I mean, the man wears many hats, but this dude is going to be a future star. All right, I'm telling you, y'all guys don't know. If y'all don't know, you're about to know. He's going to introduce us to the madness of his comic book universe over here. You know what I mean? With Hopeful Rowemantics. Yeah, there's a spelling thing there. Man, it's slick there. Let me introduce the man himself, the future legend, the superstar, the one, the only Mr. Kevin Michael. Oh, what's up, homie? How you doing?
Hey, Al, I'm doing great. I feel like I'm like walking down the ramp to WrestleMania now after that introduction. So like,
what type of match are you going into? Is it?
Oh God, Hell in a Cell, baby. So like, yeah.
Hell in a Cell. Here we go.
Yeah.
That's what indie comics feels sometimes like. You know, as I see my independent creators go through it, you know, some don't, some do. It is what it is. You know what? That's the journey, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you know, you got to eat it up, eat them up. Yeah, you know what I mean? You got to be gnarly, like the character you created over here. You know,
damn right.
I can't wait to dig into that. But we're going to really just a tad, a wee bit, if you will. Kevin, let us know a bit about yourself, like where you're originally from, where did you grow up? And what was the first thing in fandom you ever fell in love with?
Cool. So I'm originally from Ohio, like, you know, the suburbs of like Cleveland, Ohio. Born and raised there.
Indians fan? I mean, from the what are they called now?
The Guardians. Yeah, you know, like I grew up a fat kid that read comic books, so I didn't really partake in a lot of sports, except the 95 and 97 Indians when they went to the World Series. That's pretty much where my sports knowledge peaked.
Started and ended.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. And then, you know, like, I always remember, like, having comics around and, like, watching, like, old reruns of, like, the Adam West Batman show and stuff. But I can remember specifically I was in a store called Discount Drug Mart. It was a little grocery store with my mom, and I saw a copy of Warlock Chronicles #1 with Adam Warlock on the cover, and it was like holographic in the background, like one of those gimmick things from the 90s. And I looked at it, and I'm like, okay, this is my life now. Like, I'm going to buy this, and I'm going to read it. And it's just been nonstop ever since. Like, I've been reading and collecting ever since.
Yeah. When you saw the sparkly, he floated. And
that's pretty much it. I was like, oh, shiny. So, like, I went right over there. And what's really cool is, like, Jim Starlin wrote it. And then, like, years later, you know, after I moved to New York and everything, upstate New York, I met Jim Starlin. And, like, he came into my store. He was, like, making a copy or something. And I'm like, it was a copy of Thanos. I'm like, oh, that's a pretty cool Thanos. He's like, oh, I created him. And then I stopped. I'm like, you're Jim Starlin. He's like, yeah. I'm like, you wrote the first comic I remember, like, wanting. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. Just joking around.
I saw him hook you into this whole craziness.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now listen, I love Jim. I mean, I was into the whole Thanos story right before the Infinity Gauntlet, when they started with the Thanos Quest. Remember the two Axie series? I mean, beautiful book, and that led to Infinity. And I remember I was going to high school at the time, going to Lorimer Comics back in Brooklyn, and picking up those issues. You know, I picked up the Infinity Gauntlet #1, for example, went straight to that. Yo, nobody bother me. I had y'all bother me right now. Y'all getting beat up. So nice. I read through that issue. I was like, whoa, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, like it had space, it had aliens, it had shiny colors and everything. I'm just like, all right. And then I just literally bought anything I could whenever I could. Yeah. And I'm still like that today.
Yeah, so that was my first event that I really partook in. Because otherwise I was, you know, just buying stuff as I found them, you know, old issues, you know. But when I found the shop,
it was
a wrap.
Yeah, dude, like comic shops are great. Like they're the best things in the world.
Comics happen to be around. How so? Was your family readers? Do you have siblings? I mean,
I had like I had an older brother and older sister, but they weren't like super into comics. But it's just like older cousins had some, or like we'd have like adaptations of like the movies and stuff, like Batman Returns, all that stuff coming out at the time. So like the X-Men cartoon. Like that was huge for like kids my age and everything. So
are you excited now as a kid our age for the new one coming up?
I am waking up early tomorrow morning. I am pouring myself the biggest bowl of cereal I got, and I'm gonna watch that episode.
Oh man, what's your cereal? Talk to us. What's your cereal of choice?
Frosted Flakes all day, every day.
Well, bro, right? I half that box. We used to have the big O's for the soup bowls.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I used to just say when my parents was I bet half that box. She was like, I swear to God, this was full. I don't know what happened, Mom.
I do the same thing. My wife's like, can't you use a regular bowl? I'm like, absolutely not. Like, no.
Yeah, I used to mix them too, especially when you had a little bit of everything back in the day.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Super mix.
You're living dangerously, Al.
Yeah, but there's the 80s children. We survived. Right. We weren't starving. I'll tell you that much. So, all right. So, did you have a tribe in your geekdom, though? As you were collecting, you were kind of a lone wolf in your day and age.
Like I always had friends who like dabbled in comics or like, playing things like Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. So like I had friends, but no one was ever like really like seriously into it as like I was. But like luckily, like I didn't have anyone who just didn't, they weren't like jerks about it or like making fun of me for like being a nerd or anything. Like, so it was kind of cool. It's just like I could tell my buddies about like X-Men, and like now I've gotten some of them into comics who are now like more into them and stuff. And now it's very weird. My buddy Will, he got really into comics, and then he started recommending stuff to me that I never heard of and everything. And I'm like, it was like full circle. I'm like, no, dude, like that's not how this is supposed to work. So
no, but that's actually great. You should give him that. That's when the Padawan becomes yeah, motherfucker. About time. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah. Now, yes, now we're on the same level. I will not treat you like a child anymore.
Yeah,
you must read. All right, dig it. So talk about then stepping into the journey. I mean, what the hell inspired your crazy mind to say, okay, I want to share my stories and just put it out there? What happened?
Well, I mean, like for years, ever since I was a kid, like, excuse me, I always considered myself like a writer or creator. Like, I remember in like school, I would write my own like old entries into like Handbook of the Marvel Universe for like my own like characters and stuff like that.
Great.
It's the coolest thing ever. Yeah.
I see that they're trying to bring that back via Thundercats from Dynamite right now.
Good.
Thundercats. All right. Okay. You're about to make me hook me.
Oh yeah. I picked up issue 2 yesterday. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but like it was that, and then like I tried like. It was like I always danced around like going straight into comics, at first like, oh, I'm gonna like make movies and sketches with friends and stuff like that. And then it was like comedy. I was focused on comedy writing and like sketch and stuff. I took a lot of classes down in like the city and everything, and it was fun, but it just like I didn't like, I don't know, like the stuff that I wanted to do, no one else was really like willing to do. And then the pandemic hit.
What you say, what to do? Was it risque or?
No. It's just like a lot of times it was like more nerdy.
Or too nerdy?
Like a little too nerdy or or too dark sometimes. Like I would write some like, I was a big fan of like, Conan O'Brien and like Mr. Show and stuff. So my sketches tend to be like a little bit darker, and some people are like, hey, you went a little too dark. I'm like, no such thing.
Like, no such thing. How dare they? Comedy. What? Listen, I'm about to roast my homeboy, Blind Apple.
Mm-hmm.
But he wants to do a roast, So all right.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm sure you want to do this. I'm like, oh my God. Have I been like studying him? Do I have jokes galore? I have a pad full right here, right now.
Nice.
Oh my God, bro, you're gonna get burned.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and like like I love comedy, I love humor. Like I grew up watching like Mel Brooks movies and stuff. And then like Spaceball. I saw Spaceballs before I saw Star Wars, but they're still both my favorite movies of all time.
Wait a minute, so you thought Star Wars was a rip of Spaceballs, right?
First, I'm like, what's going on? And then But now it's like Star Wars is my favorite movie of all time. I just dropped $100 buying new Star Wars cards for this new game that came out. So,
but I mean, our addiction is real, folks. I mean, it's wonderful. It's a fandom. All right. So, when was the day you said, "Okay, boom, like serious deal. I'm going to submit something. I'm going to get this done." Like, what happened? What first? Was it the project or was it the publishing, the Hopeful?
It was the comic first, the project. Like I was working this job and I came up with the idea for the character N.A.R.L.I. And like I would like it was years ago and I would come back to it every now and then, like, fill out a notebook with like a little bit more things about him and stuff. And then the pandemic hit and I was at a job that I loved, but at the time it was just like killing me. There wasn't any room for advancement or anything. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to write a comic. And I enrolled in Comics Experience, the online writing school and art school from Andy Schmidt. It was great. Andy Schmidt's a fantastic teacher, and Paul Aller there too. They really helped and like showed me like, I would make attempts on my own beforehand, but they really showed me like, no, it should be like this and this and this. And they showed me enough of the rules where I understood it and then where I could break them too and still have a story make sense. And I wrote my 5-page N.A.R.L.I issue. William, the artist, was in my class and he had time in his schedule to like draw it. And as soon as I got the first page in, I'm like, okay, like this is my job. Like I'm going to do this forever. Like that's as simple as that.
He fell in love. He was done.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So when did you attempt to put your first project out there and what did that feel like? How did you even build your team, if you will?
Well, the first thing I ever put out was the first 5-page story from N.A.R.L.I. And then William, the artist, he's the one who had the time to schedule. So like we worked on it together. And then I lettered it and I just put it for free. I don't even remember the website. It was like some free web comic hosting website. I'm sure it's still there somewhere with my terrible first lettering pass and misspelled words I didn't catch at the time and stuff. And then after about like 6 months or so, I got the idea for another story and then like some more stories until I got enough where it would feel like a book. And then I talked to William again and he was more than willing to like draw it up. And then I seriously just sat down and I thought like, do I want to try to submit this? Do I want to try to put it online? And as a kid who like grew up in like the punk rock scene and still has a bunch of friends who like have toured the country and I've toured like the East Coast and stuff with my buddies. I'm like, I could do this myself. I could like definitely like DIY this. And I have the most supporting, loving wife in the world who like stood by my side the entire time. And so last year, or no, it was the year before, I put out the first run of N.A.R.L.I. and it was the second happiest day of my life after I met my wife. I'll say that just in case she's watching.
Yeah. Second happiest.
Yeah.
All right, you ain't playing around. Yeah. Folks, before we dig in deeper, these people must be N.A.R.L.I. What is N.A.R.L.I? Yeah, I'm going to introduce you to N.A.R.L.I. with this cool trailer, a dope PowerPoint, and we're going to jump right into it, baby.
Heck yeah.
N.A.R.L.I. the robot.
That is totally Tubular, dude.
Thanks, man. Big shout out to my good buddy Bobby Edge, who did the music for that and the vocals. He's one of the most talented guys I know. I've known him for years and stuff.
Love it. That shit had me jamming it.
Yeah. And like it gets stuck in people's heads. Like it's awesome. Like I'm so happy that he took the time to do that. And Bobby's going out on tour soon, so you guys should check out. Like he's heading down south and out west a little bit. So make sure Google Bobby Edge.
Playing as N.A.R.L.I. as he sings this song or what?
No, like he said, like he just got a new band started. And he's like, oh, we should learn the song. I'm like, I'm kind of pissed you haven't yet. So yeah.
I love it. All right, so talk to us, like, the madness of Gnarly. Like, what
Yeah.
the hell, bro? I mean, where did this really come from, man?
Yeah.
A dream. When did you first draw this? Were you out the womb and said, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like two of my favorite movies of all time are, like was mentioned before, Star Wars and like the Bill and Ted trilogy. And I was just like, I wonder what would happen if like Bill and Ted like programmed C-3PO. And that's where like Gnarly came from. And like in the original concept of it, it was going to be like a comic about like a touring band, and Gnarly was going to be like their drummer. It was going to be more like Scooby-Doo-ish, like, oh, he escaped and they solved mysteries and stuff. But then like as I was writing it, I'm like, oh, but Gnarly is obviously like the coolest character, so why would I even bother with these other guys? And it just like evolved from there into this like Saturday morning cartoon in a comic book. And it's been great. And like I came up with the acronym. It stands for Nuclear Automaton with Realistic Lifelike Intelligence. Which and that cover art by my buddy Scott Lamine. He's the best artist in comics that's not currently working in comics. Like, he is just fantastic.
This shit is gorgeous. The color
right,
and just the title, dude, so Ineffable. Gnarly.
Yeah. And
there was scenes there that you have this funny thing going on in the books with like safety moments. And let me tell you, I'm gonna share. I feel ashamed. I'm sharing this, but I was reading that shit just like an 80s kid. It's Gnarly!
Yeah.
And do the whole fucking pose. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, oh shit.
That's why I put it in there. Like, I really like, I wanted to take, well, at first, like, I didn't know if this was the first issue was going to be like the only comic I ever put out. I didn't think it was, but I'm like, well, if it is, I want to put all the stuff that I love in it. And I love old like 80s cartoons with like the forced moral message, like the G.I. Joe things. I love robots. I love dinosaurs. Yeah. Like, so I'm like, yeah, F it. Might as well just throw everything in there.
Yeah, you do make it epic. And let me tell you, your skill as a letterer, wonderful. I love this, bro.
Thank you.
Over here, you definitely are showcasing your talent. I know what you're doing here, bro.
Yeah.
Love it, bro. The bubble placement on the words doesn't interfere with the art, and then just the action sounds, the sequences, bro. Everything.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean,
I'm so in love with this aspect of the medium.
Lettering, like I started lettering just because I'm like, all right, it's just one less thing I would have to pay someone to do. And like I kind of fell in love with it as well, but it is frustrating. But it's also great too because I'm the last one to see it again, so I can make like little changes to the dialogue and stuff. But
so what's frustrating about it?
Balloon tails. I hate making balloon tails to save my life. And then just like placing like, on a page like this, like where you really don't want to cover up like any little piece of the art. Like I always write first without thinking of the lettering placement later. And then when I go through the letter, I'm like, oh, like I'm an idiot. Like I should have like made a little bit more room. So like this page right here, like just staring at it and like placing things around took me like a day and a half just because I didn't want to cover up any of William's like fantastic artwork on there.
I think you did a great job. It flows wonderfully. It's
Thank you.
So there's movement to it, that appeases the eye, makes it feel cinematic.
Yeah, it was an image. It was an homage to a Spider-Man Kingpin fight. I can't remember which issue it was, but I'm like, oh yeah, like we should just definitely do something like this. Oh yeah, this is like one of my favorite stories too. With the chainsaw safety.
Yeah, bro. The way he ends that, I'm like, oh my god. I love it. Again, this is the type of book. Again, folks, it's funny. It has an underlying theme because your universe building, and I see that through stories, and it feels so. It's such a fun read.
Thank you.
But I feel what a comic book should be. This is something I would definitely have on my pro list. Want to read because again, awesome. Again, underlying theme, but it has its moments where you just smile and laugh. Like especially if you read this, you will definitely be bugging. And I'm telling you, even it's like right there, it's Gnarly. All 80s and shit. Oh my god. And then you got this too, the Tubular Tales.
Yeah, that was the first issue we put out, and the cover is like it's an homage to the first appearance of Iron Man. So like William again did like a great job on it, and like it's just I pictured each issue as just like a Saturday morning cartoon. Remember they used to have like a couple little segments with like a little break in between, and that's what I was going for, and I don't know how everything came together as well as it did, but it did, and I'm not complaining about it. So
you absolutely achieved it because, again, like I said, it brings back fun into comics. It's a great read.
Yeah,
good job. Your artist is fire. You know what I mean? And the way you throw around it, it's old school, it's new school. All different types of feels to it. So again, it's it has the old school look right there. Let me tell you that it's really fun. I mean, look at this. Again, and look at that lettering. Look at the panels, folks. I mean, this is comics. You see, this page, unlike most new comic books, has more panels than most new comic books.
Yeah.
I mean, word bubbles, for example. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You buy a comic book today, you're spending $4.99, and you probably get 2 word bubbles per effing page. You're not really getting a full story. They keep, egging you on. Thank you for providing value for me to sit down and actually enjoy a book, to sit down and read. That takes me more than 2 minutes to read. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. Oh, well, no, thank you. Like, this is just, again, it's a culmination of like dreams that I've had for years and years. And I mean, like, this is great. And I know, like, I mean, I love making comics. People always ask me like, oh, like, what's your end goal? Do you want to work for like Marvel or DC or anything? I'm like, I would never say no. Like, I think it'd be really cool to like do some work for Marvel or DC, but I would just be happy being the old dude at an artist alley, selling my own books, like just to cover the cost of the table for the day. Cause this is just, it's the coolest thing ever to like bring something to life like
stand in front of the table, not behind it, and tell people how dope it is. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because you're introducing this universe, and who inspired the nerd? Who amongst your friends group is the nerd if not you?
It's definitely not me at all. A little bit of everybody, and then like a little mix of the stereotypical nerds from Saved by the Bell, because they always had like their pants tied up like all the way up and like suspenders and stuff. So I'm like,
that was the show that made me hate fucking bow ties. I fucking bow ties, but hate them, bro.
Yeah.
You put a bow tie on me, I mean, listen, bro. I mean, I must love you if I'm wearing one.
Yeah, I wore a bow tie once in my life, and I think it was the day I got married, and it was definitely one of those clip-on ones. So,
nah, man, they made me wear one for my high school graduation.
Oof.
Yeah, horrible.
Yeah.
And I was only smiling because, they were taking 2 pictures at once, and the dude in front of me was so big they had to give him 2 jackets and put a clip on him.
Oh,
yeah, to be able to take the picture, man. Yeah. I started laughing, and that's when they took a picture of me.
Yeah,
probably even came out being my best picture. That people said, "I've never seen you smile." Hey. You should have seen what I saw. But this, talk to me about the building of the universe, because like I've been mentioning, while everything is fun and you kind of have sketches, folks. I mean, I'm gonna show you the website in a minute too. I'm showing you everything, folks. We got everything. You know what I mean?
Fantastic.
I gotta show the love. Talk about that universe building and the underlying theme, because again, you segment stories that feel like individuals, but again, there's something going on.
Yeah, so like I mean, it to me like it just boils down to like essentially it's like the battle of like good versus evil. Like there's N.A.R.L.I and then there's the bad guys who I don't want to spoil anything for, because you people should buy the book at hopefulrowemantics.com. And from there it's kind of like the old like in the 80s cartoons there was always like one organization that was good and one that was bad, like G.I. Joe, Cobra, Mask, and Venom, and this and that. And so like that's pretty much it. It's always like them fighting. It's good versus evil, but then like there's all these like colorful characters and like stuff in between that still kind of tie into like that battle. But for the most part, like the whole like N.A.R.L.I verse or whatever, if you want to call it, it's just like a place where anything can happen, and it's rad shit happens all the time. Like, that's what I said.
It's the Rovers.
Yeah.
Right there. The Rovers, baby, in Florida. So what inspired you then to create Hopeful? So if the comic came first, then how did
Yeah.
Hopeful Rowemantic Studios come about?
Well, like I figured I needed a name for like a publishing company, or something like that. Just like kind of make it like legit, kind of like how punk bands used to come up with like fake labels and stuff to put on their like demos and tapes and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I can make up something fake. And I came up with this name. I'm like, this is going to be great. I'm going to love it. This is awesome. And I told it to my wife and she's like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, that is a dumb name. And I'm like, okay, then what would you call it?
Okay.
And she's like, first thing out of her mouth, she's like, Hopeful Romantics. I'm like, oh, that's a really good name. Because the Bouncing Souls are one of my favorite bands of all time, and they have a song called Hopeless Romantic.
Yeah.
And I always sing it to like my wife and stuff, like joking around. And she's like, oh, you could be a hopeful romantic. You spell it with your last name. I'm like, yeah, no, that's real good. That's really, really good.
You probably stared at her for a whole minute, like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
At first, I was gonna be like, "Well, it's not that good," but like, "Oh no, I can't deny like how clever and smart." Yeah, and so like it just went from there. So it was this fake little thing. I whipped up a logo in 2 minutes on my iPad, and I'm like, "All right, I'm a publishing company," and then I'm like, "All right, I have something where I can at least like throw like a name on or something for whatever other comics I put out if they never get picked up by like another publisher or something."
But you've gotten out there working hard. What do you think has been kind of like the obstacles that you face and how did you overcome, the toughest of them, if you will?
I mean, like the last year, like it's been kind of tough. We had like, we had some loss in our family, like people being sick and stuff like that. Like it was more like personal loss than anything. Like, and I mean, I think I just like, I got in at the right time with like the publishing and the printing things. It was like right when supply chains were reopening again, like after the pandemic, printing costs were going down. Like my first print run was astronomical. Like it just cost a lot of money, but it was a local place and I knew I'd be able to get it in like a day as opposed to waiting like 6 or 7 months from like somewhere else. And then once they open back up, like other places, like the print, it's been cheaper and even better than the local place. But like, it was like cost and like personal things. And then just promotion. Like I have a hard time talking about myself, believe it or not. So like, but even like,
you have here, folks. Don't let this man fool you. He got some dope. I mean, he even take you to the website. I mean, what we talk about, I mean, man got a website. He's getting this done. This is the spirit of indie. And, we celebrate indie. So, for real, this is the type of people that we love to talk to. People that take charge and get it done. They're not trying. They're doing. Yeah. So, change that terminology because you're doing. Look at it.
It's just like I remember like the first time I sold a copy to someone, they're like, "Oh, could you sign it?" I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I wrote it. I should definitely sign this."
Yes.
Like,
well, I don't mean why. I mean, it's not ego, man. I mean, they're showing appreciation and love, like because they see potential in you.
Yep.
So you know what? Manifest that potential, my brother. Get her done. Manifest it. You deserve it. Again, if you're able to have Almega smiling and laughing throughout what I mean, with the project, absolutely. Homie got videos, everything. And he shared the interviews he's done in the past. That means that my big head's gonna be there too eventually. Possibly.
Oh yeah, no. As soon as this thing goes up, I'm gonna add you to the website.
Oh, it's live now. It's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
It's up when we finish.
As soon as we finish, I'll put the link up. Yeah, like it's just like for comics, like because it's something like I've been so passionate about for such like a long time, and like I love like every aspect of it. Like, there's not many other hobbies or interests where like you care about what the distributors are doing and what the local shops are doing and what the publishers are doing. Like most people are like, oh, it's just a comic book. I'm like, oh, did you hear that Diamond did X and this and like Lunar opened up and blah, blah, blah. Like it's like everything like coming together. And it's just the fact that I get to like stick my feet in like the shallow end of the pool of comics right now. Like, it's fucking amazing. Like it's just I feel so grateful to be here.
Love it. So talk to me about the ever expanding universe. I mean, how much more N.A.R.L.I's in your head, and is it going to expand with other creators being involved through the publishing process?
I do have some ideas for some more stories. Like right now, just like with everything else, I think I'm trying to have another issue out next year. But I have thought about like collaborating with more people about like, you know, branching out some like the other characters into stuff, or maybe even publishing some other things like from people. Like luckily, like through Discord and the internet, like I'm in a couple like different really cool like comic book creator groups, and people always talk about, you know, putting an anthology together and stuff, but it usually like falls apart in the end. But like now I know how to get stuff printed, and I know how to, you know, convince Al Mega to read them. So like we can do that stuff.
Yeah. And if you want to be involved in something, I was approached by someone at the wonderful Indie Creators Comic Con that happened.
Yeah, I'm bummed I couldn't make that.
And they wanted me, they're talking to me about a potential anthology project for, you know, a Crusaders label. You know,
that's awesome.
Creators. I mean,
yeah.
They want to get involved on something that you believe in. Like, can you pick awesome creators? I'm like, I absolutely can. I'm like,
yeah,
shit, you definitely became one of my favorites. Because again, you made me feel throughout the book, and
awesome.
I dig the character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It also reminds me, what was that robot from Image from the 90s? Oh my God, the dispensable robot.
I don't remember.
Shit, yeah. Hold on, yo.
From Image in the 90s.
Yes, the dispensable robot. Yeah, he was like an assassin robot.
Scud. Yeah, I am a huge Scud fan. Yeah, the guy who created Scud, Rob Schrab, he's one of my comedy heroes too. Like him and Dan Harmon, they worked on that show Community together, and like a couple other things. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got a little Scud vibe here because I know a lot
of
new jacks are finding Scud.
Oh yeah,
because again, because of the way the book was, and that's something that's you know, pushed in today's day and age. But let me tell you, if y'all want to read some wild, fun shit, yo,
Scud.
Scud.
And I think it's the 30th anniversary of Scud this year too.
Oh my God, 30 days.
Yeah.
This ain't white for nothing. God damn, you feel old.
Ah, hey man, I'm turning 40 in a couple months, so.
You're turning 40. Shit, I'm gonna be 50 in. Wait, oh man, let me not talk. This year I'm gonna be 50.
Yeah,
so I'm turning 49 this year.
Nice.
Shit. But again, you know, but that's years of love. Look at it.
Right, yeah, right here,
bro. Yeah. You want to compare, bro? I still got a rug though. I got a rug. Yeah, baby.
Good for you.
It's real. It's real.
Nice.
Just don't pull it, please. Nice. Anyway, are you gonna be making any con appearances or what? You're gonna be
dude, I've got a few, yeah. So April 13th, I'm going to be at the Brooklyn Independent Comic Showcase at Studio City.
Really? Oh fuck, man. See,
yeah.
I'm from you're gonna make me go back in April. I might have to hit those people up and see if they want Comic Crusaders to be walking around with a camera.
Yeah.
And but I would love to see you in person. You know, we have a beer after the show, bro. Hang out in Brooklyn.
Yeah, dude, it's a fun show. I did it last year. It's sponsored by St. Mark's Comics. They moved there from St. Mark's place. Mark's? Yeah.
I had a bad experience, to be honest with them, back in the day.
I'm sorry, what?
I had a bad experience with.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Back in the day, yeah, man.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not gonna blame the shop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blame the individual just for being a ignorant person.
Gotcha.
You know? But they made me feel a type of way, you know, that I
Oh no, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, just because of how we looked, honestly.
Bummer. That's fucked up.
Yeah, man. So I was like, I didn't like that at all.
Well, forget Brooklyn, because also on April 27th, I've been working with some people in town. We're doing a comic book show in our town of Kingston, New York. Yeah, it's called the Kingston Independent Comic Expo.
Another independent comic book con?
Yeah, we're working on it. We've been working on it. When I left the Brooklyn show last year, I was talking with my wife. I'm like, we can do something like that here. She's like, go ahead, do it. I'm like, all right. And then the shop that I work at, World's End Comics, one of the owners there has been interested in it, and another friend of ours is interested. So we've been working on it, and so the inaugural one is happening on April 27th in Kingston, New York.
Baby, woo!
Yeah, and it was when we put out like a call for creators, we were full up in a month and a half.
I'm sure. Listen, please send me some information and share.
I definitely will. Yeah.
Comic Book Crusaders website, Comic Crusaders
awesome.
Website, because we need to push every single independent show out there. Because listen, in the IC3, I'm sad you missed that, but first year show, wonderful. I have a video. You can see all the amazing creators. I didn't get to all of them. And even a showrunner of a very good show that I put in the video, Terrific Con.
I
was like, yo, Mitch, you're here. What's up? You know, I've been to this show. I'm like, what do you think? He goes, I'm uberly impressed.
Nice.
So a man like that runs the show that he does on the level to be impressed by this first year show goes to show you. I mean, this is a man that's been around. I'm telling you, I had fun. Everybody was great. 33% of those people I had interviewed prior on Comic Crusaders Podcast.
That's cool.
I met so many of them for the first time ever because post-COVID, you know.
Yeah, of course.
I was so happy for them to understand that I'm not a digital avatar. This is real. You know?
I'm in the Cartoonist Kayfabe Facebook group, and like a lot of the guys in there were like running the show and like working at it, like you know promoting their appearances and stuff. So it was kind of cool to see it from like the creator aspect going on there, and like I just couldn't make it work on my schedule this year to go.
Oh man.
But next year, if they do it again, I'm definitely going to hit it up.
I think they need a bigger spot, to be honest with you.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
They should go to a bigger spot because even Mitch was telling me, creators wanted to see if they were available for my show. And, you know, I've already sold out of all of my tables. Like, holy shit. Like,
yeah.
There could probably be a very huge independent show on that probably could be comparable to an SECC.
That would be awesome.
If people just listen, if independent heads just get together, like what I'm doing and working with Rick Dury and team to do the Heroic Awards, which is a Comic Con's award.
Oh, cool!
We do the first ever for independent creators. We have 11 categories. I'm going to be the MC, and it's this year first ever, and the response has been wonderful. Wonderful. So thank you to everybody that's been showing love for the Heroic Awards this year. And
that's awesome.
You know, N.A.R.L.I qualifies. So hopefully, you know, I got involved a little bit later after submissions. Hopefully for next year, Kevin, you got to say this because I think this definitely deserves to have eyes on it and be recognized as something that, you know, that has so much potential because, again, it's fun. And that scud feeling, you know, and if we're going back to 90s, I mean, this is it right here. I mean, I know this is 80s.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the only thing to make it more 90s or 80s would be like some pouches and guns, right? So, like,
let's not go that route, my guy. He wrote me a book for like 15 years already.
Yeah, see if Rob Liefeld will do a variant cover for me.
Love it. But Kev, you're awesome. Yeah, you're amazing. I love that.
Thank you, Al.
And it seems that you have a very supportive spouse in your life that believes in you. So shout out to Miss Rowe because everything you said that I wanted to do this, she said this. But you know, and it's nice to have someone to have your back like that. I bet.
Yeah. Oh no, it's fantastic. Like she's like again, like I don't deserve her. I'll say it like. And she's definitely married down. Like she could do a lot better than me.
Like give it a couple of months, you know. We when Netflix says, "I want to make a cartoon at this month," and then you know, they should have married up. Don't you worry.
Yeah, and then like all my buddies and stuff, like my best friend Bob in Michigan, not even a comic book fan. He's like, "Yours is the first comic I've ever read. Probably be the last one, but I love it, and I'm so proud of you and everything, and like all this stuff. Like I'm very blessed to be able to devote the time that I have to making these books and the people that I have in my corner who are helping me and like, you know, talking me down off a ledge sometimes when I'm like thinking about, you know, like how I shouldn't be doing this. They're like, no, you're doing it right. And I'm like, okay. So like, I'm very, like, I don't like to say lucky, but like, that's the only way to really like feel like I feel blessed and like lucky and just like super stoked to have this.
Blessed. Keep on the frequency, keep being awesome, keep bringing out the good energy, keep bringing good people within your circle. Let me tell you, Cal, that you're going to be nothing but the up and up. You know, at least, you know, that's my advice to you because as a fancy creator, and I'm already in love with the property. So
thank you.
I mean, I think you did wonderful. I can't wait till other people get their hands on this. And folks, I mean, this is where you want to stay up to date on stuff right there. But if you want to pre-order this baby, you have to go right there. The link is also in the notes. I make it easy for you guys. Craziness. Tax returns are coming. So spend that goddamn money, guys. Stop with this bullshit. You know what I mean? Make it rain. Support independent. N.A.R.L.I, the radical road.com. Put that pre-order. You know what I mean? And you know what? And buy everything. Go to Hopeful Rowemantic. Check out what they got going there. Go have a laugh. Got a whole bunch of dope shit there. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Yeah.
You know, and also stay tuned. Kevin got stuff going on. He has a personality. So you can follow him on Instagram at Kevin Michael Rowe. And that Rowe is R-O-W-E, folks.
Yeah, I had to start using my middle name because some British piano player took kevinrowe.com. So fine, I'll sound pretentious for a little bit. So.
Yeah, you actually sound more British than he does.
Exactly. Yeah.
Kevin Michael Rowe. Yeah. I feel like saying this with a pinky, Kevin Michael Rowe.
Right, with your pinky up and like having a little bubble pipe or something like, yes, indubitably. Yeah.
Oh, bro, when you come back, please have a bubble pipe and actually have bubbles. Let's go, bro. I would love to have you back on because I love the energy. I love the story.
Thank you. I would love to be back on.
Where this is leading to, because man, you left me someplace.
Yeah.
What happened with one of the characters there? Like, wait a minute, huh?
What? Yeah. Now there's some cool stuff happening. Yeah, and I think the next issue might be the longest one too, and it might just be like the one continuing story just to tie up everything from the first two. But like, yeah, I started making some notes on it the other day, so like I'm super pumped to like start writing it out.
There we go, folks. Amazing, Kevin. Thank you again so much.
Thanks,
for the time to talk about N.A.R.L.I, the Ineffable N.A.R.L.I. It's a great book, folks. Support Indie. The links all below. You know, I mean, like I said, for real, man. Support Indie in the comics. You know, these creators are the future. I mean, they're indie now, but they're gonna be the superstars of the future. You know what I mean? Because you know, you can't stay indies forever. You will break out eventually one day, and that really is the goal. Hopefully, break out. I mean, have always the indie spirit, but be able to break out and bring that wonderful energy. And I think Kevin is definitely gonna be one of those individuals. And with that. It's Omega. It's Comic Crusaders. It's Kevin Michael Rowe. It's N.A.R.L.I. Hasta la próxima.
Later, dudes.
Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. If you like the concept, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.com and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.